I'm gonna wait until some people come live. I'll get cop on for a second. I just got off the road. I'm tired as always, but we'll see. I don't know how to share. I could share it out though. I'm just waiting. Good morning, my first person. I'm gonna go ahead and just share it out on my other page so that they know what I'm talking about. Make sure that's my page. Okay. Give me a second. I'm just waiting for more people to come live. And since I'm waiting, I'm going to share it on my personal page. Okay. Look like I got enough people on. Good morning, Tina. Good morning, Carla. Good morning, Patricia. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's kind of gloomy outside. Okay. So, I see that I'm just going to have to go live all the time. I'll still do Tax Talk with Gwen on Wednesdays as always, but it's so much going on, and I get so many inboxes, and this is going to be the easier way. Good morning, everybody. This is going to be the easiest way for me to get information out. So we're just going to be going live and just talking about everything, okay? So for those who don't know, my name is Gwinnetta Wright, otherwise known as Gwen, and you are tuning in to Tax Talk with Gwen. A little bit about myself. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I'm actually a American, and I am also a tax professional. That's why you're here. I've been in the tax business for going on 17 years. I have owned my own tax business for going on 15 years. And my goal ultimately with all my brands is to inspire, educate, and serve my communities. So why we are here today? We're here today to talk about the PPP and the EIDL loans that the SBA is offering. And really, these are the second round of the loans because they put some criteria out on last week, and they are starting some of the loans today. I felt like it was a need for me to go live just because I've had so many inboxes and so many questions. So I hope this video helped you. But just a disclaimer, every single day something changes with the loan, something changed with the stimulus, something changed just period, just because they're trying to roll it out and they're making rules as they go. So if you watch this video now, a week from now, all the information some of the information might have changed. So just continue to follow our page at Expert Tax Service to get the latest updates, whether it's me doing a live video or whether it's me posting on our page as far as the information. Okay, so let's get started with this PPP and EIDL loan. Now, I don't really call it the EIDL loan. I call it the EIDL loan, but they pronounce it EIDL, but it's the EIDL loan. And I'm going to start by telling y'all what the difference is, because I don't think a lot of people know what the difference is. I think a lot of people end up getting the loans and they did not know which one they got. And so I want to kind of give y'all the background and the education of the difference between the loans. So the PP, well, first of all, they are all SBA loans. Thank you, Joanna. They're all SBA loans. The PPP and the EIDL. The SBA has control over both of them. Plus, they administrate them and they make the rules for them. Okay, and they both was included in the two acts, the CARE Act and the COVID Act. Now, with the EIDL loan is a loan that the SBA has had for I think a while, but with that particular loan is just that they had special regulation when COVID came. So that's why it's included in these acts. Okay. So everybody like, well, you know, the SBA loan. Both of them is the SBA loan. So with the PPP, The PPP is the SBA loan, but the SBA is not the ones who is releasing the funds to people. And you do not go directly through the SBA to apply for the loan. You go through participating lenders to apply for the loan. And that could be your bank. I know SunTrust participated. They call Truist now. I know Chase participated. I know Fifth Third participated, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and the list goes on and on. You have community banks, like a TIC or a Kinetic or a Navy Federal or any local, well, Navy Federal might not be a community bank, but it's a credit union, but different community banks. And so every city, state, or whatever have their own community banks, so it's a lot of them. It doesn't mean that everybody participating in it, but you can go through a community bank for it, right? And then they got these things they call fintechs, and those are places like Lendio, Blue Vine, Cabbage. You have PayPal who participated, Square participate. So it's a majority, not a majority. It's a lot of different lenders, because that's what they're all considered. It's a lot of different lenders that have partnered with the SBA to be able to issue these particular loans out. But ultimately, they are SBA loan, and that's the PPP. Well, the PPP, it stands for Payroll Protection Program. And that was created so that people who are employers and they have employees, when COVID happened, a lot of people had to lay off people. And so they can keep some of their employees, and unemployment was on steroids, so people didn't want to go back to work. They created this program so people can have some employees and they have some type of revenue that they could utilize to pay their employees. That's what the PPP was created for. So that's the PPP. The EIDLLoan loan, which is the EIDL loan, which I call it, and a lot of y'all probably, that's the way you look at it. That's an SBA loan as well. But the SBA is the ones that administrate that particular loan, meaning that you had to go to the SBA website to be able to apply for that loan. And you was contacted by the SBA either via email or through the phone, whether or not you was approved or not. And so that's the difference between the two. The other confusion is the EIDL grant. Okay, that's the one that everybody went out and tried to get the $10,000, and you might didn't get $10,000 for it. You might got $1,000, but that's the grant, right? And the grant is different from the loan. The grant is something that you did not have to pay back, right? It was something that it was given out to people that was in need at the beginning of COVID, and certain people got it, and it wasn't like a whole lot of requirements to get the grant. They was kind of giving that money out if you applied for it, and then we know they ran out of money, right? So it's three different things. It's the EIDL grant, which was the $10,000, and then they changed it to $1,000 per employee. It's the EIDL loan. That's the loan that the SBA approved. That's the 30-year loan that people got. That was a sizable amount for a lot of people. It's the one that was 1% interest. It's the one that takes 30 years to pay back. It's the one that you haven't started making payments on yet, that you had a year from the date you got the loan to actually start making payments. And then you have the PPP. As somebody said P too many times, but the PPP loan, right? That's the one, again, that's administered through lenders. Originally when it came out, you had 2 years to pay it back. Now you have 5 years to pay it back. It can be considered a grant if you apply for forgiveness for it. And a forgiveness means that you use the funds for the PPP the right way, you have the right documents, and you submit it to that particular lender, then they can forgive that loan where it's not a loan and it becomes a grant, and you don't have to pay that back. So I kind of want to start the video off by breaking down the difference between each one of these loans, because it's so much confusion on them, right? And I guess because people just let people apply for them, and you don't really know what they was applying for, but it's a difference between them all. Now, with this last act that they just wrote into law like 2 weeks ago, at the end of December, they're bringing these particular loans back, right? And they're getting ready to roll out, so everybody have a new interest in them, but everybody don't know what it's gonna take to actually get them. So that's where this video comes from. So we'll start with the PPP one, because they get ready to roll out today for a select group of people. So let's talk about it. So again, the PPP is for Payroll Protection Program. That's what it stands for. You apply for it through different lenders, right? Again, I don't have an exclusive list of the lenders, but I do know majority of the big banks participate in them. I know that Square and PayPal and Lendio and Blue Vine and Cabbage, I know those were some fintechs that actually participated in it. And then some community banks. I don't really know what community banks that participate in them, but it's a couple of community banks that participate in it as well. And that's who you apply for it through. Again, it's for small business owners to be able to get funding so that they can pay for payroll and their overhead for their business. That's the purpose of it. Now, the confusion that I kind of get with it is that people who got unemployment, I'm not 100% sure you can apply for it, right? And if you do apply for it, I think you have to wait until your unemployment runs out in order for you to start using it, in order for you to have it forgiven. But I'm not 100% there. And the reason why it's a conflict, whether or not I think people who get unemployment can apply for it, because it was created so that people don't have to get on unemployment. So if you're on unemployment, I don't know if you can apply for it, right? Who can apply for it? Like if you're a small business, and like myself, I'm a small business, but what the government was, they don't consider me a small business. They consider people who have millions in revenue, and they can have 300, 400, 500 employees. That's what they consider a small business. We are a small business, but they consider us like mom and pop businesses. Self-employed. We're self-employed. We are independent contractors. But those are literally the people I'm talking to. I don't do corporate taxes. And a lot of self-employed people, they do not have employees. You can have employees, but there's a lot of them that don't. And most of them, if they do, they have contractors. It's the difference between having a contract and employees. I think that's a misconception. Maybe I need to go over that too. But these are for people who file a Schedule C on their tax returns. It's the people I'm talking to. Now, people who do file corporate taxes and have employees, of course, they apply for it. That's really who they made it for. But I'm talking to my mom and pop businesses, my self-employed people who don't have any employees, but you have contractors. I'm talking to my gig economy workers. You qualify for this particular loan. Now, one other thing I'm not 100% sure of is if they go by your credit, because you're not automatically approved for this loan. You have to go through a process, and people do get denied. I know when I applied for mine, they did pull my credit. I don't know if when they pulled my credit, they determined my eligibility based off my credit, right? So that part I never really knew. I don't know what the criteria is for them, whether or not they're going to approve you or not. But I know you qualify to apply for it, okay? So they got the first draw and the second draw for the PPP. The first draw is for people who did not have the opportunity to apply for it last year. right? If you didn't apply for it last year, you never got one. Maybe you off unemployment now and you just running your business and you didn't have the opportunity to apply for it. And then the first draw to me would be somebody who got denied previously and maybe you want to apply for it now, because one thing about it is you don't have to apply with just one lender. You can apply for with as many lenders as you want to. It's just about who's going to approve you, right? So that's what we consider first draw people, right? And then you have second draw people. Second draw people will be like me, right? I was approved for the first one last year, especially when I did mine when it first came out. So if I want to apply for a new one, then I would be considered a second draw because I already have one. I'm in the process of getting mine forgiven, meaning I'm trying to turn it into a grant instead of a loan so I don't have to pay it back. And then now they got more funding and I might want to go out and get me some more money, which I am, right? So that's what we consider the second draw. So today, everybody think they can just go apply for the PPP, but it's not offered to everybody today. So the people that is offered to today is community lenders. Okay, so a select amount of community lenders. I don't even know who that is, right? They are able to offer the loan today. Okay, and they're only offered to offer the loan to first draw people. So that means like PayPal, Square, the banks, none of them are open to offer this particular loan yet. Okay, the first draw people, second draw people, they are able to start applying for the loan on Wednesday. But the catch to that is the lenders ready to accept the applications, and a lot of them are not. So just because they're saying that it's open today and it's open on Wednesday doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be able to apply unless you find a particular lender to apply with that's ready to take the application, because it's a process. Some people are, some people are not. But I know today it's only for community banks, and it's supposed to be for first draw applicants, and it's supposed to be surrounded around minority businesses. And that's something they enacted in the ad. Like a lot of minority businesses and people with 10 employees or less, mom and pop businesses, they say we didn't get opportunity to get a lot of the money because it went to big corporations. So they have opened a select amount of community lenders today to be able to offer it. And again, you have to be in the first draw. It's not considered being in the second draw. Okay. The qualifications for it again is, pretty much, you got to be a small business. For the first draw, you got to have under 500 employees. Again, it is open to self-employed people. That's people who don't have any employees. That's people who might possibly have contractors. That's gig economy workers. And gig economy workers are people that like drive for Uber, Lyft, waiters, DoorDash, those different types of people. It's open to you if you have not applied for one. Again, I don't know if you're receiving unemployment, whether or not you can apply for it or not. And how it works is you're a Schedule C filer, the people that I'm talking to. If you did not have a loss on your taxes, right? Because a lot of y'all have losses on your taxes. I do taxes. So a lot of y'all have losses on your taxes. The PPP do not go by your gross receipts when it comes to how much you qualify for. It actually go by your net profit. And a lot of y'all do not have net profits. And if you want to know if you have a net profit on your Schedule C form, if you look on line 31, what is in that particular space, okay, that's going to determine whether or not you can even apply. Okay, and if you do apply, it's kind of going to give you an idea of what you might qualify for, right? So I'm going to use the example of, say, my net profit for the year was $60,000. Okay, and so in line 31, I have 60,000. Now, if on line 31 you have a number in a parentheses, that means you had a business loss. So for the PPP, that's not going to be good for you because you don't have nothing they can go by. You basically saying your business has a loss, and they're not going to really consider you when it comes to this particular loan. So the example I'm going to use for how much you possibly could qualify for, first of all, in line 31 for a Schedule C filer, you cannot have more than 100,000. If you do have more than 100,000, they're only going to count 100,000 worth of income if your net profit is 100,000 or more. If it's 100,000 or less, that's what they're going to go by. And again, you cannot have a loss. So say I had a 60,000 net profit for my business. How you determine what you qualify for is they go by 12 months out the year, and they're going by your 2019 tax return. I guess I need to tell you that too. They're going by your 2019 tax return. So I have a $60,000 profit. I divide that by 12 months out the year. That means my annual monthly income is $5,000. How much I qualified for the PPP would be 2.5% of that number. Or not, I said, let me correct myself. It's 2.5% times that number. Okay, is what you qualify for. So, if I have $5,000 monthly, that's what they're saying I make, and I qualify for 2.5 times that, then I qualify for $12,500. That's what my loan amount, if I get approved, that's how much I'm going to get approved for. So to kind of give y'all an idea how that works. And whatever your number is, say you make $12,000 for the year, and that's your net profit, then it's the same thing. You'll qualify for, it's $1,000, so you'll qualify for $2,500. That's how you determine the dollar amount that you're going to qualify for the PPP. Again, that's the first draw. Now, for the people that's doing the second draw, if you already got a PPP, you have to have a 25% reduction in income from 2019 to 2020 in 1 quarter out of the year of the same quarter. So, for instance, third quarter of the year in 2019, I would tabulate what I made then, and then I'll tabulate what I made in the third quarter of 2020, right? I will compare those numbers, and if my income, I have a 25% or more decrease in 2020, then I qualify for the second draw. If yours is less than 25%, then you don't qualify for the second draw. Okay, so everybody's not going to qualify to apply for the second draw of the PPP. That kind of give you an idea of like who qualify. Again, they're going by 2019 tax returns right now. From what I hear, if you've already got one, you got one in 2020, a PPP, and you're going to apply for a second draw for the PPP this go round, then it's a good idea for you. It's a good idea for you to pretty much go through the same lender. You do not have to, but they're saying because they already have your information on file, that's probably going to be the easiest things for you to do. Okay. And it's the same thing. The requirements, I think the only thing they changed was that instead of 500 employees, you got to have 300 employees. They changed some other things that kind of is not really relevant to you all. So that's why I'm not going over it. But that's kind of pretty much it. And then the other thing that they changed that might be beneficial to some other people is if you're in a certain industry, if your NAICS code on your tax return starts with a 72 or above, which are people like in the hospitality business, restaurant business, then instead of you qualifying for 2.5 of your net profit, you're going to qualify for 3.5. Now, how they're going to determine whether or not you had the decrease in your reduction in your business, that is unknown right now. right? They probably come out with that later today, sometime this week, letting you know, based off what I've seen in groups and what I watched on videos, that when you apply for the second round, that they might not even ask you for documents to show the reduction. But if you want that particular loan forgiven, which if you don't know what forgiven is, that means that you apply for them to make that not be a loan and that be a grant, then that's when you will have to show the 25% reduction, or you have to stay on file because they can audit you at any time to ask for the documents so they can make sure you didn't do any fraud. What can you use the PPP on? When they did it last year, pretty much the only thing you really could use it on was like to pay your payroll. So if you're self-employed, people get this confused. So your payroll is yourself, right? So I had to pay myself what my monthly income was for 8 weeks. Well, I'm saying it wrong. Whatever that 2.5 added up to be, I had to pay myself that. Right, so that's my payroll, and then you was able to pay your rent, and you was able to pay your utilities, and that was pretty much it. They might have had some other things that you could utilize or whatever, but for the most part, it was just that. And then you had to keep record of it, and then you had to turn it in for forgiveness. Some people have not turned their forgiveness applications in yet. But that's pretty much what you had to do. This go around, they have extended to what you can spend it on, to include, now you can spend it on your group life insurance, which is life insurance, disability insurance, vision insurance, dental insurance. And then they say cover operating expenses, property damage done to your building, because you know a lot of people's buildings got damaged during COVID because of the protests and different stuff like that. You can use supplier costs, and then work protection expenditures. So they kind of made the list a little bit longer of what you can utilize your money on this go around. But the biggest thing is for you to make sure that you can keep track on it, because you ultimately, if you get a PPP, your ultimate goal should be that it don't end up being a loan for you when you're done spending the money, that it ends up being a grant for you. That means that's free money for you. It's a whole lot of other stuff that I can go into when it comes to the first draw and the second draw of the PPP. But to me, it's not necessary. You just need to know if you want to apply for the first draw. It goes by if you're self-employed, because these are the people I'm talking to. I can't talk to the people that have employees. I know if you're an employee, I know you got to turn in you're an employer and you got employees and you got a corporation, that you have to turn in your 941. But because that's not my specialty, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to my self-employed people who file the Schedule C on their taxes. You just need to know that you're eligible to apply. You might not necessarily get approved. And the documents that you're going to need is your Schedule C. It's a possibility that they might ask for your bank statements. And the amount that you're going to get approved for is 2.5 times what your monthly income is. And then for my second draw people, what you need to know is that you're supposed to have a 25% reduction in your income from 2020 for at least 1 quarter of the year. And from what I hear, they might not just go by quarter. They might go on your annual gross receipts, meaning that you have to turn in just the Schedule C instead of turning in the documents for what a quarter is. But that is yet to be determined. And you pretty much want to kind of use the same lender. Again, you don't have to use the same lender. And again, you're not necessarily approved for the loan, right? You're eligible to apply for the loan. Somebody said, can you have a PPP and EIDL at the same time? Yes, you can have a PPP and an EIDL at the same time. What you do need to know is your record keeping when it comes to both. You can't You can spend them at the same time, but it's kind of wise, like if you got the EIDL and then you got the PPP, unless your expenses and stuff are way over a certain dollar amount, you probably want to spend the PPP money first, track it, make sure you keep good records, and then start spending your EIDL money. Why? Because when it's all said and done, if they was able to audit you when it comes to you and this money, or if you want to get the PPP forgiven, you got to make sure that you have the proper documents to show that you actually spent the money on the particular expenses that they are allowing you to spend them on. Now, with the EIDL, okay, with the EIDL, it has not opened up yet. Okay? It's not open. They have not put out the regulations for it yet. It's a possibility they could be out this week. I think they had like 10 days or 17 days or 14 days from the time that President Trump signed the acts to get the information out to everybody. But as of right now, you cannot apply for the EIDL grant. And with the EIDLLoan, I know the portal is still up to apply for the loan. I know they have extended it now into 12/31/2021 for you to apply. The thing about it is, the reason why I don't know if you can apply for it now is because I don't think they determine whether or not if you apply for the loan that you don't have to have a 30% reduction in your income. Last year when everybody did the EIDL, y'all didn't really have to have a whole lot of documents to get it because it wasn't regulated. It was something new for them, and it was so much money allotted to people, so they didn't ask for a whole lot. But y'all know it's been a year, so now they know better. And like, I think when they put the law into place last year, they had 3 days supposedly to approve you. They have 21 days by law now to approve you. So, that means they're going to take forever. And then two, they wasn't requesting a whole lot of documents the first time, but it's a possibility they can be requesting documents this time. But that's unknown right now because they have not put the criteria for that actually out. It has been approved for them to do a second round on those as well, but the criteria that the SBA is going to go by is not it's not out yet. Now, what everybody is trying to figure out is about that EIDL grant. Am I still going? Because it looked like my thing froze. Am I froze? Anybody can see if I'm frozen or not? I can't see no comments. Okay, I seen somebody do something, so I guess I'm not froze. Okay, so so with the EIDL grant, with the EIDL grant, it's not gonna be like it was before. I'm just gonna give y'all because this is what y'all looking for in this video. It's not like it was it's gonna be done before. So, from my understanding, there's a possibility that some people might qualify. Like, when they first came out, you got $10,000. And then you got $1,000 for employees. Y'all know some of y'all did that crooked stuff. And then y'all put down like y'all had 10 employees and y'all got that $10,000. Y'all weren't supposed to get it. But with this particular one, your business has to be located in a certain demographics that is suffering or have suffered more so than other areas for this grant, and then for you to be able to get the difference. That actually is asking and saying that you have to have a 30% reduction in your income to get the difference in the grant if you didn't get the full thing. And then as far as new people applying, I'm not sure just yet whether or not they're giving out $1,000 per employee or you're going to be able to apply for the $10,000 because it's just not very clear right now. And that's what we're waiting for the SBA to kind of be a little more clear of what's going to be required for the particular grant. From what the research that I've done is the post that I put out on yesterday on the Expert Tax Service page. They're saying that if you qualify for the grant, if you had already applied for the grant and the loan, that they will possibly be reaching out to you. But I don't know how true that is, okay? But what I can tell y'all is it's not out yet. Okay, everybody's thinking they can apply now, and everybody ready to apply now. Now I think they're supposed to have like the details of it out by this week or the other early part of next week. But as of right now, no. And then with the grant portion, mind you, it's a difference between the EIDL grant and the EIDLLoan. With the EIDL grant, they only have a limited amount of funds, so it's a possibility that can run out quickly. Again, nobody knows what the criteria is for it, but what I do know is that if you're going to get the difference in the $10,000, so for instance, I got $1,000, right? Because I don't have employees, I have contractors. And if I'm going to get the $9,000 difference that I didn't get because I didn't get the $10,000, I think I have to show a 30% reduction in my income in order to get that. And what documents they're requiring for that, I don't know. Now, if you got an EIDL loan already and you want to get an increase, because you have the opportunity to get an increase on your loan, I think you're going to have to do a reconsideration. You're not supposed to apply for the loan again. You're supposed to reach out to them and do a reconsideration and ask for an increase. And I think if you go in and you try to apply for the loan again, you're going to create a duplicate file for yourself. And it's possibly going to get rejected. And you're probably going to mess your file up for real. Okay. So, but when that information comes out, I'll go live and I'll talk about that in more detail. But I kind of just wanted to come out and answer some of the questions that I received in my inbox over the weekend so that I didn't have to be trying to inbox everybody. That I have to inbox everybody in reference to the EIDL. Not the EIDL, the PPP, EIDL. Because everybody inboxed me. And so a lot of people are going to be referred to this video. But I just wanted to touch bases with you all in reference to it. Yes, a lot of people asking, am I doing the paperwork and helping people and assisting people for the PPP loan and the EIDL? Yes, we are. We're not starting until the end of the week because it's a process for everybody. I'm sure the same way, just like it's a process for the banks to get prepared to be able to accept them. It's the process for us because, of course, this is new to us. I did some last year, but because it's tax season, I got to be able to be prepared because my tax clients need to get their taxes done, and we need to have a system in our company set up that we can do both. And so I'm working on that this week, so I'll be prepared to do that this upcoming week, and I'll put out on Facebook when we'll start accepting clients for that. If you have any questions, you can inbox us. I'm not just gonna be answering questions back to back because it's too much work out for me to do outside of that. But if I have time, I will go and answer some of the questions. So don't get offended if your question don't get answered. It's not that much time in a day. Is there? Let me see. I don't know what I'm going to talk about Wednesday. I don't know if I'm going to come live tomorrow because every day is a different day. But I hope this video helped a lot of y'all, and I hope it answered a lot of questions for you all. It's a lot of stuff I left out just because, like I said, I try to just give you what I think is going to be relevant to you and not talk over your head, because when I be listening to other videos, I be like, they be talking all this stuff like nobody don't be understanding what they talking about. So I'm just trying to give you the information that I know the best way I can give it to you so that hopefully you can understand. If y'all not following our tax page, please follow Expert Tax Service. If you need your taxes done, we are open. It doesn't matter if you stay in another state. We can do them virtually through our website, which is www.experttaxservices.com. If you want to hear more information about different things, I'm going to go live here, but you're going to do better by following me on Clubhouse at Gwinnetta, right? And I keep saying I'm gonna put my thing in the comments, but I promise you I'm gonna put my name in the comments. So if you want to follow me on Clubhouse, you can, because when I get off of Expert Tax Service and I'm at home at nighttime, and that's when I'm gonna do my rooms, and I'm gonna start this week because I've been putting it off. I'm going to do my rooms so that I can talk more and I actually have the time to answer questions, because when I do tax talk in the morning, I don't necessarily have time to answer questions just because I got to get to work. I appreciate y'all tuning in. If it's any body that you know that needs answers to know or need to know about the PPP and the EIDL, tag them in the video, share the video out. If it's a particular subject you want me to talk about, please do. Okay? Inbox me. If it's my area of expertise, I will probably talk about it. If it's not, I won't. And I appreciate each and every one of y'all tuning in to Tax Talk with Gwen. And I'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.